I've been a fan of the Dragon Prince for 6 years now, and one thing I've noticed is how incredibly hard it is to predict where the story is going. I mean, every season just throws out new information that changes everything and makes theorizing about the show feel almost impossible. It's not like other shows where you can make decent enough guesses about what might happen next. The Dragon Prince has a way of revealing like super important lore like really late in the game, right before things go down. And it completely recontextualizes the season and oftentimes all the seasons before it. Take the Star-Touched Elves for example. For 6 years, we had no idea that Star-Touched Elves were literally immortal. We knew that Erebos was powerful and that Star-Touched Elves lived a long time, but we had no reason to assume that you couldn't just shoot it with a crossbow bolt and be done with it. Nope, his physical form can be destroyed, but he'll literally just respawn when the stars align? That completely changes how I think about the possibility of Erebos getting defeated in the finale. And it means that we as the fans speculate about what's going to happen, have to come up with a whole new solution to how to deal with him. And this wasn't revealed until just like 5 episodes ago. And that's not even the only example. At the end of Season 2, the big climax is 𝐀𝐧𝐝 learning how to use sky magic. And that was super unexpected because up until that point, we didn't really have any idea that humans couldn't do primal magic. Like Season 1 didn't even mention it. Then, in the very first episode of Season 2, we're told by 𝐁𝐳 that humans can't use the primal sources and can only use dark magic. That single piece of info set up 𝐀𝐽𝐿𝐼's whole storyline for that season. And if we'd been theorizing after Season 1, there's no way we could have guessed that that was going to be his arc. Season 3's ending was another surprise too. Rayla tackles 𝐕RN off the Stormspire to save 𝐳𝐝, and 𝐀𝐽𝐿 dives after her, confessing his love. And then they have this huge, beautiful romantic moment. And while that was amazing, it would have been basically impossible for us to predict that at the end of Season 2. Raylan wasn't even really a thing until that season. So it's pretty wild how the show keeps dropping these major moments that no one really could have seen coming, which makes it really, really difficult to fully guess what's going to happen next. Another thing that makes the Dragon Prince so hard to predict is that the lore keeps changing or evolving in every season. Now don't get me wrong, I love that the show keeps adding more depth to its world, but it makes theorizing super tricky when a bunch of stuff you thought you understood suddenly changes. Like in Season 5, we learned more about Star-Touched Elves and their immortality, which we didn't really know about before. So Cosmo in Season 6 straight up says that the Star-Touched Elves can't die. They'll just come back when the stars realign. But then in the finale, we see the Star Council apparently kill Leola, a Star-Touched Elf. So now we've got this mystery. Can they actually be killed? Is there some kind of loophole? Or like, can only a Star-Touched Elf kill another Star-Touched Elf? Maybe there's some kind of magical artifact like the Nova Blade or some other object that we don't even know about. It just feels like every time we get an answer, there's more questions. And it means that theorizing can be really off the mark as soon as the next season drops. Like, in Season 5, they introduced the Nova Blade as the object that was kind of going to be the important object to kill Erebos, only for the very next season for Cosmo to say that it wouldn't really work because it would just destroy his vessel and he would return when the stars realign. So, if we were just going off of what happened at the end of Season 5, we had no reason not to assume that the Nova Blade was going to be the key object in defeating Erebos somehow. But the next season rolls around and we get this huge piece of information that Star-Touched Elves are functionally immortal, which completely changes how we would theorize the show is going to end. But that's kind of the fun though. The Dragon Prince keeps us on our toes. Every season introduces new changes to the world and the characters and the lore, and it's like, just when you think you understand the rules, the show goes, surprise, here's something completely different that changes everything. So yeah, the lore keeps evolving constantly, and that makes theorizing almost impossible. It's super cool because it keeps the world building really interesting, but it definitely makes guessing what's going to happen in the next season a lot harder. One of the biggest reasons that theorizing is tough for the Dragon Prince is, honestly, just because of how Netflix drops the whole show at once. Like, back in the day of network television, when shows would air episodes weekly, you'd have time between each one to process, speculate, and really dig in to what might happen next. I remember having so much fun doing that with shows like Gravity Falls, and even more recently, shows like Amphibia. Theories would build up between episodes, and the fandom would go wild with speculation, each new episode revealing another piece of the puzzle as we all try to piece it together. It was a lot of fun. But with The Dragon Prince, sadly, they just dropped the whole season at once, and while that's awesome for binge watching, it kinda sucks for theory crafting. By the time you've watched all the episodes, you already know all the answers to a lot of the questions you might have been wondering at the start of the season. And there's no time to really theorize, because the next big reveal is just gonna autoplay into the next episode. So instead of spending a week guessing how a plot point might be resolved, you just watch the next episode and find out basically immediately. I think one of the worst examples of this is in Season 6 itself, which is definitely one of my favorite seasons. But it plays really badly when back to back. And that's going to be when Claudia ends up leaving Terry, only for her to return in the very next episode. Now, there would have been a bit of drama and speculation, is she gone forever, what's going to happen next, and all that could have been a lot of fun. If the show was released week to week, we could have been speculating about what was going to happen, and then when she returns, it would have been genuinely unexpected and probably welcomed after we spent a week wondering what was going to happen to Terry and Claudia after she left him. But the way that it's set up in the binge model is that she leaves him, and then in the next episode she just comes back, which can feel a bit anticlimactic. It's a bit of a bummer for me, because I love theory crafting, and I feel like this show is so perfect for it. There's so much going on, and their brilliant writing keeps a lot of the lore kind of hidden in plain sight until it's revealed, and then different pieces from past episodes come together in a way that you didn't even realize they were part of a puzzle. There's so much going on, and there's new twists popping up constantly, and because the whole show drops at once, there's not a lot of room for the community to go wild with predictions. It's like, sure, we can make some theories about what might happen next season, but by the time that season comes out and we watch it, they've already annihilated all of our theories by revealing so much new information. That said, even though it's tough to guess where the show is going, I'm still gonna try my best. I've got so many theories about where things could go in Season 6, and even though the show keeps surprising us with new lore and new twists, that's part of the fun. It keeps us guessing, and that's what makes The Dragon Prince such a blast to watch and to theory craft for. So yeah, The Dragon Prince is one of those shows where predicting it is going to be super hard. But hey, that's not going to stop me from trying. Even though the lore keeps changing and they drop whole seasons at once, I'm still here, ready to theorize, and who knows, maybe one day I'll actually get a theory right. Until then, thanks for watching, smash that like button, and I'll see ya.